Alrighty YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video that you guys have been wanting me to make for a little while. I'm going to be doing the things that I like about the Stark and then the things I don't like about the Stark. But before we get into the video guys, I just want to say thank you so much for 5,000 subscribers. That means a ton. I've been working super hard, so it's nice to see it starting to pay off. But I'm going to put the camera on the tripod and we'll do a little review outside. I got tons of different content coming and I just got some new stuff for the Stark, so you guys will be seeing that pretty soon. So let's get into the number one reason and the biggest reason why I bought this bike. So with that being said, the biggest reason why I bought this bike is how quiet it is, which is great for me because the types of videos that I do, I could definitely get into a lot of trouble if I had a gas bike. So this one makes it just so much more convenient for me to make videos on. If you guys go back to some of my older videos, it was a lot harder to get away with the stuff that I do now in my videos. In the past I had a KX before and I also had the YZ that you guys saw on the channel. But with this bike, it's so discreet that literally no one knows that you're riding it. So it's just the perfect bike to be doing urban riding and all the type of stuff that I usually do. A lot of people ask me too, is the bike completely silent? No, the bike's not completely silent. You obviously hear it a little bit. You hear the chain, you hear the wheels moving, and it almost sounds like a fast RC car. So now let's talk about the second reason why I bought this bike, and it kind of ties into the first reason, and that being said, it is convenience. This bike is just built for convenience. When you want to get it in the truck, they have a walk mode where you literally just give it full throttle and the bike just crawls right up into the truck. It has a reverse mode. It's so easy to turn on, turn off. You literally just press a button, give it some throttle, and you're going. And what's nice about this bike is, say you're in the trails, you can turn down the horsepower to 35 horsepower. If you're out in the dunes, you can turn the horsepower up. Another thing to add about this bike that I really like is the phone that they ended up using. It's just like a simple Android phone, but it's very easy to use. If you go to like the main menu here, I got a little update that I'm gonna have to do later. Just missed that. But if you go to modes, this is where you can change what just happened. All your modes there. I have mode 1 and 29 horsepower for the woods. Mode 2, another wood setting, 34. Mode 3 is kind of what I would use on the track, 40 horsepower with 55 regen. I use 55 regen on every single setting. Mode 4, this is a little bit higher, 44 horsepower. And then mode 5, 49. If you go back to the main screen here, you can click on stats. It'll show you how much time you have on the bike, the distance, airtime, max speed, and it will show you how much gas you have saved. This feature is super cool. If you go to rides, it shows you the exact map of where you rode. It shows you how far you went. And then you also have your support and then your parts. I will say Stark's been amazing with just any problems that I've had with the bike. They always get right back to me in like a day. But what's nice about this phone too is it's just a normal Android phone. So you can pop it out, go to the main screen here, and it's just a normal Android phone that you can use to make calls, go on YouTube, do whatever you want on it. So just overall, the bike's super convenient. Literally any scenario you put it in, it's going to do well. And the third reason why I love this bike is that there's zero maintenance on it. On the KX, I had to do so much oil filter changes, oil changes, and all that good stuff that you guys know about. I've ridden this bike easily over 30 hours and I haven't done a single thing to it, so that just shows how good the bike is in terms of having zero maintenance. Also, something else to think about, if you're buying this bike in America, you're going to need a charger converter, basically like a 110 to 220. In America, we really only use the 220 for like dryers and washers and all that stuff, so you're definitely going to need a converter if you're in the US buying this bike. I was lucky enough though that they gave me the charger with the bike, so I didn't have to pay for it, but I think if you do have to pay for it, it's around like $100. Well, their AC unit just kicked on, so hopefully you guys can still hear me, but I'm going to go into the reasons why I don't like the bike now. So the biggest thing that I don't like about this bike is the durability of it, and I'm not talking about necessarily like the battery or anything like that, but I'm just talking about the bike as a whole. It feels super fragile compared to other bikes. But yeah, literally every time I ride this thing, I'm just praying that I don't drop it, because every time I do, the bars are crooked or something little minor always happens. It just feels super fragile. On the phone, this little rubber piece falls off literally every time that I drop the bike, and now I got this little crack on the side where the plastics are. You can see it's starting to come off right here from the carbon fiber. And on this side it's still flush. So that's kind of annoying, but whatever. If you've seen other Stark reviews, I'm sure you've heard people talk about the kickstand. The kickstand is horrible. Mine has already like cracked a little bit. I'm not sure if you could really see it under there. But yeah, basically I had the stand up and the floor was kind of unlevel and the bike just tipped over and the stand just completely cracked. I don't think you can really see it, but I just got to take the kickstand off now at this point. And obviously with dirt bikes, you want them to feel durable. Like on my KX and my YZ, I never had that thought of like, is the bike going to be destroyed if I tip it over? So now let's talk about the second thing that I do not like about the Stark, and that being the suspension. It's weird because it has KYB forks and everything, and it seems like it should be good, but just something feels so off about it. It feels stiff, but not in a good way. It feels like way too stiff. I haven't done any adjustments to it, so I'm sure I can make it better, but just straight out of the box stock, it's almost way too stiff for me. And the third thing that I don't like about this bike is obviously the price. This bike is super expensive, if not one of the most expensive dirt bikes in the world. I was lucky enough to get this bike for a little bit of a discount. I got it for $12K flat. I have a video of me picking up the bike that you can watch if you want to see that. But yeah, you can't just go on Facebook and find one of these bikes for 7, 8K. They're just way too expensive. And I think that is a big problem for people that want to get into electric bikes. They just don't have the money to do it. I don't really think there's one that's better than the other. I like electric, I like gas. They're both good for completely different reasons. But I do plan on in the future having a gas bike as well, so I'll have the Stark and then also have the gas bike. I definitely do miss the sound of hearing an engine, but I also love how peaceful riding this bike is as well. But yeah guys, if I were to rate this bike, I would give it a solid 9.1 out of 10. It's a super good bike.